I really believe in the idea of like dialogue improvising. So I think there's something, you know, to be said about people that have a long playing relationship, that there can be a trust that the support doesn't necessarily mean not getting in the way or politely being a musician. I mean, I don't know if the greatest music has happened with people needing to hook it up all the time or like support everybody's great idea. Sometimes the search, when everyone's involved in a musical way, can become the heaviest thing, when people are sort of interrupting the space of maybe the traditional arc of a solo gets interrupted by someone else's idea. I'm really interested in those ideas, you know, and having the trust with the musicians you're playing with to know that it's not just, I need to do something here and you have to listen to it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like, it's almost like, I'm just not sure how interesting it is to, like when somebody says I play free jazz or whatever. Okay, and they're like, which I play a lot of free jazz, where everybody hears those free music. But that language, when somebody says I play free jazz, a lot of times that translates to somebody just going. And also that's what humans like are like as soon as we let ourselves go and just are purely emotional. We just walk around like this, you know? And like that's not really it. And I've come face to face, even with some of the great free jazz musicians, the great ones, where I don't know how much improvising is actually going on. It seems to me like it's already been decided this is what free music is. I think if you were, I'll say it, you know, let's say you were playing with Peter Brötzmann or something, and I just went like this for a half hour. I think he'd probably think, what are you doing? I don't want to make that judgment, but I played with Peter a few times. I'm just saying, like, Captain Beefheart didn't sing any ballads, you know what I mean? Peter Brötzmann shows up, it's just gonna go, you know what I mean? Personally, I like to think of things in a complicated way. Like, I don't want to think that free music is all of a sudden explosive and maniacal, but it can be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Cecil Taylor and all these iconoclastic thinking free musicians, but there's a song underneath a lot of that music, and I think it's super important to think like that when you're improvising. Sometimes I take that type of idea when I'm playing a standard or playing like that duet with Brandon.
Right.
You know? That was actually very connected. In fact, Brandon is one of my favorite musicians to play duets with because he's totally listening. He's not soloing, he's listening to me, I'm listening to him in a way that's not, you notice how it wasn't just the normal arc and just screaming at the end or anything like that. It had valleys, hills and valleys, waxed and waned through the whole thing. And that's what we're trying to think about. So it's piece by piece for me. That's a long answer, but I think for everyone it's the same. It's trying to make something happen that doesn't necessarily answer a question, or maybe it does, but you're trying to make good music happen for sure, and not just, like I say, thoughtless expression. The bass player of the Bad Plus has an incredible, very opinionated guy, if anybody knows this guy, but he's a brilliant musician and says things I've really learned from him we grew up together, and he's lived in New York for 20-some years, but he'll just say things like, not everybody needs to express themselves, you know what I mean? And it's just perfect. Or he'll say things like, why does anybody feel like they need to talk to me? That's another message like that. But like, why do we need to talk? You know, he says things like that. He's pretty heavy Scandinavian, by the way. But anyway, but like really interesting to actually think like that. Like, or says things like, just because it's possible doesn't mean it's interesting. It's like, think about that for a while. It's like, man, that's brilliant, actually. You know what I mean? It's like, some of the more, just being able to play a major triad and not buy into the dominance of jazz harmony. Thanks, Luke. Luke tonight.